Greetings, everybody. Here's my video message for the week that ends today, Friday, July the 24th. Oh, it's hard to believe that there's only one more week left in July. But here we are. I really appreciate getting so much information from y'all and feedback. I get a lot of emails and text messages. Uh, Y'all give me some really good ideas and thoughts. I hear your concerns. You let me know of things that you think it would be good for me to share with the staff. And generally, this is a good way to kind of have a one-sided conversation, so to speak. But I'm really appreciating it. I particularly appreciate you're keeping me up to date. We are a very, very large organization. And not only that, we're scattered all over the place. And it's really hard to stay connected and to um, keep up to date on everything. Though this is kind of my stab at it. And as you know, I've also required each of the departments to rotate and to give a weekly message to y'all also. Last week, I believe you had a message that came from our Care Innovations. There's been a lot of video messages. Next week, you're going to hear from the finance department some of the updates. So I hope this is helping in our communication somewhat. But if there's anything you want to know more about, or anything that you think it would be good for me to highlight or to bring to folks' attention, once again, please let me know. Um, don't feel that, oh, it's just another email and that she's probably inundated with emails. I can handle it. Emails are very important to me, so I do prioritize them. Just ask IT. Whenever I have my email shut down, they know I go into hysterics. So don't worry. I really, really do appreciate this. And one of the things I've been hearing from y'all um, are a couple of things. First off, there was a lot of good feedback around the travel policy, and you have all done an extraordinarily good job helping us address any of the vacation travel that you're thinking about or your travel regarding any continuing education. You've done a really good job on that. You've been very mindful and you've really helped in addressing that. I've still had some comments that have brought up that, in spite of that, there is still some behaviors that continue to happen, and not just with staff, but across our community. So let me implore, let me beg y'all that even with your safe practices at work, and you're doing a very good job there also, the coronavirus doesn't just stop once you leave the four walls or whatever of Care, South Carolina. It's out there. It's in your communities. It's in restaurants. It's where you shop. It is everywhere. It is one of the most infectious viruses that we've ever seen. So I know you're tired. I'm tired too. We're all getting tired of this. I know that everybody says, I just want to take a break. I want to go have lunch with my friends to be able to talk and catch up on things. I want to have some friends over to the house. I've got family that I haven't seen that are going to come over during their vacation. I hear it and I understand. I know that we're all tired of this and we really do want things to get back to normal, but they are not normal. I implore and beg you, please be mindful. And if there's any way to drive that home more, you all know that John Douglas is kind of our data guru. He calls himself a geek, so I really appreciate that. He crunches a lot of data and a lot of numbers, and he provides these to you in the weekly COVID digest. So this isn't anything that you should be seeing for the first time, but I'm going to share this with you. So I'm going to try to do this by video. It's not real easy, but take a look at this. This is a chart, if I can ever keep it straight, that tells you the active cases that are in our 5 counties per day. That top line that's kind of orange colored, that is the total in the counties. Look at that. I mean, folks, it goes straight up. If this isn't a surge, I don't know what is. And this is pretty current. It started back in April, and it goes current through the data that John has, which is yesterday. And then even more concerning than that, these are cases. These are folks that have an active case going on. It's not somebody that tested positive 3 months ago. This is not just the number of positive tests. These are active cases. And if that's not uh, heart stopping enough, take a look at this one. This is the number of daily deaths by month per day. And once again, for our service area, this line is going straight up. These are people that are dying. You know, in the very beginning, there was some conversations around, well, everybody dies from, not everybody, but every year people die from the flu. Yeah, that's true. But not this many. Our hospital emergency rooms, our hospitals, especially our big ones over there in Florence, are full. They are beginning to have to look at surge plans. It is like a war zone in some of them. I'm hearing stories from friends and colleagues that work in these environments, and it is frankly terrifying. We have probably much more cause for alarm than we did in the very beginning. So I implore you, really think through your safe practices. We've had 3 positive cases in the last week amongst our own staff. And, you know, when this happens, we have staff that might have had associations with them, whether on site or off site. And there's quarantining that has to go on. So we lose staff to be able to be in our offices and in our practices. Please be careful. Please observe safe practices. Set an example. I think I've said this before, when people see that Care South Carolina people are out shopping at Walmart or at a restaurant or anything, and they're not bothering to wear a mask or, you know, what have you, then they may be getting the impression that it's just, this must not be that bad. They're in healthcare. So please help us on this. We've got to bring these curves down. We're about to hit a very, very troubling time also, and that is around schools. You know, if you've been in touch with the news or any other source, you're hearing about what is going on in the schools. You've heard Governor McMaster issue the order that schools will open no later than September 8th, and that they will be open 5 days a week. And it is up to the school district to determine whether or not virtual will be another option. Each school district is being given leeway to determine how they're going to implement this. And frankly, in our school districts across our service area, there is still a tremendous amount of unknown decisions. They're still scrambling to determine this. But whatever happens, whether it's um, a lot of in person in the schoolroom or whether it's virtual, we're really concerned about what then happens at the end of September and on through October when maybe perhaps more teachers, more students, more families experience the infection. We are very worried about that. We know that you are between, many of you out there are between a rock and a hard spot. The rock is you need to work, and the hard spot is that you can't work with your kids at home. They need to go to school too. We know, we understand that. We're worried also, and we don't have good answers. Uh, we have a lot of school based services. We have a lot of medical school based services. We have a lot of dental school based services. And of course, there's revenue from those services that uh, we need in order to be able to continue. So we understand rocks and hard spots. We're very mindful. We're keeping it very in front of us. We don't have good answers, but we are doing what we can to stay ahead of it and to think about what our options are and what your options are. Okay, I'm going to pivot to a little bit more light of a topic. We want to give a shout out to the Chesterfield office. The Chesterfield County Shopper does a best of the Chesterfield type of little analysis. And it's really so neat to note that our Chesterfield office received friendliest office in Chesterfield County. That is, I'm so proud of them. They work in a really difficult environment. When it rains in that area, it not only rains outside, but it rains in the building too. They're in small areas. They don't have much room, and they are pushing on and doing so, um, and earning the friendliest office in Chesterfield. So big shout out to you guys. Thank you. And the building is making good progress. The new building in Chesterfield is making good progress. So let's hope that weather holds out for a little while. I also want to let people know that, you've been hearing videos not just from me, but also from other folks in the departments. You've heard from several different departments so far. Next week, you're going to hear from the finance department. Sometimes they remain under the radar. They're not out in the offices an awful lot, but they are at the heart of keeping things running financially at CareSouth. So you'll be hearing from the finance department with more updates and more ideas about um, you know what can be done to improve our financial department. I want to kind of close with some reminders. We're still doing a tremendous amount of testing. Uh, we will surge past this week cumulatively, having provided over 10,000 tests in the PD area. That's a lot of testing. Last week alone, we provided a little over 3,500 tests. 3,800, let me get that correct, 3,800. We still have a low positivity rate. Out of that 3,800, only 194 patients tested positive. So we still have a pretty low positivity rate. That is with compared to the state, which is 20%. That tells us a couple of things, but one of the things it for sure tells us is that we are very successful in doing a lot of testing. We're testing a lot of people, and consequently, we're finding and discovering more and more cases that are positive. So that does tell us that. I looked back over my notes and I think I misspoke about something. In the past week, we have actually have had 6 staff that have had a positive result. So once again, I want to plead with y'all to be mindful around your safety in your own environments, in environments when you're out in the communities. Um, it seems like almost every time we hold a task force meeting, we learn that there is one or two more staff that have tested positive. Please be careful. Um, please be mindful of that. You know, even though you may be, and those you know may be, asymptomatic, they may not be very sick or may not have even any symptoms. It doesn't always happen that way when other people turn positive. So remember that death rate. Um, Remember to be safe. Remember to be careful. Remember to think about the representation that we want to be as CARE South Carolina. We want to set the bar for high expectations of safety and well-being because after all, our mission is to improve the health and well-being of folks in our area. Let's take that to heart. Y'all stay safe, but have a good weekend. You need the break, you need the relaxation, and I understand. Take care. Talk to you next week.